As a lot of lock pickers progress, they'll eventually get to the American lock 1100, and it's the first lock with multiple security pins, with spools and serrated pins. And after they mastered picking those, they want to move on to the next type of high security lock. And I've noticed recently, a lot of them have gone on to the ASSA Maximum Restricted, which is equivalent to the ASSA 600 with barrel pins. So this video is going to be a step-by-step guide basically on how to pick this lock. I'll show you how it feels to pick barrels, how to get it through the counter milling, and I'll show you how to do the all-important must know how to do jiggle test. So I'm going to set this video up where you can pretty much follow along step by step as I do it, and if you'll do the same, by the end of the video you will be able to pick this lock. So the first thing you need to understand is how the barrel pins work. What you'll do is, as you're picking it, you'll notice you'll click one up, go to the next one, click him, click him, click him, and then as you go back, you'll find that the original one you clicked up, you'll have to do it again. And what you're basically doing is working that pin up into the milling until they're all finally on the edge of the milling and you can actually start picking. So it does like they call it like a tapering effect. So as you go in there, you can sit there and find one that's binding. Get that hair out of the way. Let's see. And you put pretty heavy tension on it, and you can actually go either way. So put really pretty good heavy tension on it. Click up, find one binding, click him. Find another one, click him. Find another one, click him. And you'll do this over and over and over and over until you finally work all the pins up into the milling where the actual picking will start. So once you get a hang of what's actually going to happen, what we're going to do now is take out all but 2 pins, and we're going to set one and practice the jiggle test, because it is an absolute must. You have to know how to do this in order to pick this lock. So let me go ahead and take out all but 2 pins. And with this lock, it's really easy because you just slide off this little cover. Just pretty loose. And as you do it, make sure you cover this up because the springs will shoot up and fly everywhere. So let me just cover this up, pull it all off. And I'm going to take out all but pin 2 and 3. Alright, so now that I have 2 pins in there, I'm going to go ahead and work them up, which sometimes whenever you have that few pins, the barrels don't act like the taper style they normally do, or quite as much. But I'm going to go ahead and set one pin and then test the jiggle test on it so I can really get a feel for what I'm looking for. So I'm going to go ahead and work them up. And again, I'm putting fairly heavy tension on it. Alright, so they're not really clicking up too much anymore. So pin 2. Kind of has a little bit of a jiggle to it. So what I'll do is I'll put my pick on pin 2. And it doesn't have that springiness that a non-binding pin usually feels like, because it kind of feels like it's binding as well as 3. But this is where the jiggle test comes in. So I'm going to put my pick on pin 2, and I'm going to put my thumb like this, and I'm going to pull my pick all the way up to where the pin's binding and push up with my thumb. And you can see it has a little bit of movement upwards, a little bit of springiness, really. And that's the jiggle you're looking for. So if that pin has that jiggle on it, which you can do it with your thumb like this, sometimes you can just do it like this, pull down on the pick, and then let go, and it should spring upwards again, because the pin's pushing the tip of your pick down. Sometimes with this lock, it's hard to tell. It's a lot easier to do it with your thumb if you're not sure. So pin 2 has that jiggle. Pin 3, nothing. He's rock solid. So I'm going to pick up on pin 3. Okay, I'd gotten a little click. Pin 2 is still jiggling. Pin 3 is still solid. There we go. So I got a click out of them. So let me check pin 2 again. Do the jiggle test. Pin 2 feels solid. Let me double check on 3. 3 has the smallest bit of jiggle on him. You can kind of see it right here. It's super, super small, and you really have to practice it and really, really pay attention. So that thing has jiggle, so it's got to be pin 2 now. Pin 2, let me test them before I even start pushing up. Because as soon as you start oversetting stuff, you're going to drop things and basically have to start almost all the way over. Pin 2 is rock solid. I'm getting no jiggle from him. So I'm going to go ahead and set pin 2. Alright, I got a click out of him. And I got that click because it's working, the bottom of that pin is working its way up into the counter milling. So let me test. Before I even click him up again, I'm going to jiggle test him again. Still rock solid. And there we go. So that's the jiggle test. So I'm going to go ahead and put one more pin in there so I can have 3 pins and try to do the jiggle test again where I can set 2 pins, jiggle test both of them, make sure I know exactly what I'm looking for, set the 3rd one, unlock it. Alright, so now that I have 3 pins in there, which I put pin 4, so I have pin 2, 3, and 4 in there. I didn't put the first pin because it's super awkward to jiggle test right here, and you'll have to do it when you're picking the whole thing, but for the demonstration I'll just do it with these. So I'm going to do the same thing, go ahead and start doing that tapering style, finding a binding one, pushing up on him, find another, push up on him. And as long as you put pretty heavy tension on here, you're not going to overset. I mean, you're not going to, you don't have to sit there and crank on the pin to pick it up from the tapering style effect. So it's just pretty easy, just click, click, click. Just going back and forth, working each pin up. Okay, I feel like I'm not really getting any more clicks, and I have multiple pins binding. See, they're not springy anymore. Normally, if you just set your pick like that, you push up on the pin, it'll spring back. But none of them are doing that. So they're all binding, which means they're all in the counter milling. So let me look for that jiggle test again. So I'll start on pin 2. And jiggle. See, again, I'm putting my pick all the way up on it, going up to where it's binding, and then pushing up on that. Jiggle. So I'm going to go to pin 3. Pin 3 feels really solid. Let me check pin 4 just to make sure. A lot of jiggle. So it's definitely pin 3. So let me find pin 3 again. It's pin 2, pin 3. Push up on him. All right. So let me check pin 2, jiggle. Pin 3, jiggle. Pin 4, rock solid. So let me work him up. Okay, got a little click out of him. Let me test him again. Still rock solid. So what happened was the bottom of that pin went up a click in the counter milling. So let me go ahead and push him up again. Okay, big old click. Let me test him. He still feels solid. So let me go ahead and test pin 2. Make sure he's jiggling. I'm really not getting jiggle from pin 2. Check pin 3. Where are you? It's pin 2. I can't find pin 3. There you are. Jiggle from him. Okay, and check pin 4 again. Aha, pin 4 is jiggling. It's just the tiniest bit of upward movement. So let me go back to pin 2 and nothing on pin 2. See, this is why the jiggle test is so important. It's so easy to feel they're all binding. You don't know which one to pick up on. You pick up on the wrong one and you pretty much ruin the whole pick. So test and test and test again. Sometimes I'll run through it, and if I'm just not 100% sure, I'm not going to guess. I'm going to go back. I'm going to test each pin individually, making sure they're jiggling. So pin 2, the one not jiggling, got a click out of them. Test them again. Still not jiggling. Rock solid. And look, just to make sure, let me go pin 3, jiggle, and then pin 4, tiniest bit of jiggle. So it's still got to be pin 2. Let me find your pin 2, click him, and we're open. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and, actually, if you want to, what I did, because I was still trying to figure out exactly the jiggle test and exactly what to look for, I just went pin by pin. Started with 2 pins, then 3, then 4, then 5. So I'm going to go ahead and skip and put in all 6 pins and pick it using the jiggle test. Alright, so I have all 6 pins in now. Let's get to work. Again, pretty heavy tension. Let me start clicking up. The big thing I had with this lock was, this one in particular, pin 6 is a really low cut. And I had such a hard time getting my pick under the pin to jiggle test it because it was so low. So I almost had to, I have to put my pick right on the back of it, almost behind it, and do like this. You can see that if I let go, I pull down, and it jumps right back up. And that's the way I jiggle test that one. but it took me a while to figure out exactly how to get to jiggle test it. And just clicking those tapering pins up. And what helped me figure that out was the progressive pinning it. Once I figured out that that was the pin that was tripping me up the most, I put pin 6 and one other one in it, and I tested it. And I had to make sure that to find the right pin combination where pin 6 would set first, so I could sit there and really jiggle test it and figure out exactly how to jiggle test it. This whole first thing isn't a super accurate process. I'm just jamming that thing. As long as you're putting super heavy tension on it, you're not really going to overset anything. Just in this process, you shouldn't have to sit there and, you know, freaking bend your pick trying to pick them up. Alright, so I've got to be getting close, so I'm going to start slowing down and being a little more accurate and finding which ones I need to pick up. See, pin 6. He feels so low that it's binding, but there it is. If I test, blink. Have to get it right in the right spot. And it pops back up. There we go, pin 1 clicked up. 2, 3, 4, 5. Back to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Really getting too many clicks anymore. So I'm going to start doing now. Start going through and doing the jiggle test. So I'm going to start on 1. He feels super solid, even though he's so far up high. So I'm going to go ahead and set him. Got a little click. And now it's jiggling. Just the smallest little jiggle right at the top. Right as it's binding, push up again and let go a little bit. And you should have that little springiness. All right. Let's find this pin. Rock solid. Set him. Boom. Test it again. I don't even know what pin it was. I just happened to land on one. Let's see. It's 1 is jiggly. 2 has jiggle. 3 has jiggle. 4 has jiggle. Now 5 doesn't. 5 is rock solid. Got a click. And now he has jiggle. Okay, let me test pin 6. Pin 6, I don't think has jiggle. Again, it's super hard to test that one. So what I'm going to do, before I screw up the whole pick, I'm going to go through one by one. Jiggle. Pin 2. Where are we at? Pin 1 jiggle. Pin 2. There it is. Jiggle. 3. Jiggle. 4. Jiggle. 5. Jiggle. So it's got to be 6. They're all jiggly, but 6. Let me go ahead and pick up on them. All right. jiggle test them again. I still don't think he's jiggly. So let me go through again. 1. This is a super tedious process. 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, they're all still jiggly. 5 pin 6 again. Work him up. There it is. Okay. I still don't feel like he's jiggling. Pin 1, 2, jiggle, 3, jiggle, 4, jiggle, 5, jiggle. All right, still gotta be 6. I think he is jiggling now. Yeah. Got that spring on it. So let's go back through. Okay, pin 1, jiggly, pin 2, jiggly, pin 3, jiggly, 4, jiggly, 5, rock solid. Oh, lots of clicks. And he's jiggly now. Now pin 6 doesn't feel jiggly anymore. Let me test all the others. Okay, I wonder if I drop pin 5. I'm trying to set this dude. Boom, there we go. So that felt like something. He is still not jiggly though. You know what, let me take my own advice and test all the others before I start oversetting stuff. 1, 2, 3. Okay. 5, 6. 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, still gotta be 6. Boom. Got him. All right. And we got it open. And picking this lock is a tedious process. 1, to get all the barrel pins up into the milling, and then 2, going through and having to make sure you do that jiggle test. You have to make sure you do the jiggle test. It's going to be the only way you're going to figure out how to open this lock. It's the only way to tell which ones are ready to be set and which ones are up into the counter milling, feeling like they're binding, but they're already set. Because the ones that are set and the ones that need to be set on this lock in particular, they feel very similar until you jiggle test it. So hopefully this video helped you figure this lock out. Um, I mean, even me, I've picked this lock dozens and dozens of times now, with multiple variations of pin combinations inside of it. Um, it's still a pain in the butt to pick. It's still tedious and takes a long time, but it's an accomplishment. It's the next step into high security lock picking. So again, hope that helped, and thanks for watching.